Thoughts about the two, but just a single with one ball left in the over. Do you feel like this is again feels a harsh point, but with 14 from it, does this feel like a ball to try and make it 20, or does it feel like a ball just to get out of the over and with a single?
No, 100%. Make it 20. Absolutely.
Well, the intent was there, but it will just be a single.
So 15 off this over. I think he's just slightly missed out, but credit to the bowler after the first 3 balls to come back for 3 singles to finish off that over. He was under some severe pressure in the first 3 balls, and it just goes to show how vital and valuable that stop from Sandeep at short third man. He's thrown out the left claw, seems to have stopped the run flow, as we have another change of bowling from the pavilion end, with Sandeep completing his 10 overs. Karan KC will be coming on 253 for 3 or 46 overs. Where's your predictions? Are we still on?
Still on 300.
Still on the 300 mark?
Still there. So just a quick recap as we go into the final 4 overs. Jersey had a brilliant first wicket stand of 115 before Carline fell on 56. Top quality opening partnership. Second wicket was in the 39th over. Greenwood falling for 32 from 45, and then it was the main man, Patrick Gouge, who fell for 110 ball 95. Just 5 runs short of that maiden international ton for his nation. And now we get to the current moment in time. 4 overs to go. Jersey 147. Here's Karan. The drive is mistimed up towards long on. Jenner's thinking about the 2, but Zach Tribe understands. There'll only be a 1 there. 254 for 3.
Good start from Karan. At this stage, singles is fine. Just want to limit the boundary options as much as possible. It's been an excellent display of batting from the Jersey boys. 254 for 3.
Karan KC cleared up the tail on Monday. Huge swing. Fielder interested. Gone. Solid take out, a deep backward point. Jonty Jenner, a fiery cameo comes to an end. 27 off 15 balls he made, doing his job for the team. But now, with 23 balls left in this innings, it's going to be up to Charlie Brennan to propel Jersey to a competitive total.
And the added factor of the left and right hand combination coming in. Fantastic innings there from Jonty Jenner, who's done exactly what the team required. Don't mind the intent being shown there. Was looking at the vacant area just at the backward point region, but unfortunately found the fielder out in the deep. But once again, Karan Casey comes on and strikes towards the back end, breaking the partnership.
So Karan Casey is now in the wickets as Jonty Jenner gets out with that slashing cut shot. And it's up to left-hander Charlie Brennan to get Jersey over the line in the closing stages of this second one-dayer. Nice start from Charlie Brennan. With a whip of the wrist, sign of a man in form. Here's a question for you. One for those at home as well. What do you reckon is the current percentages for chances to win?
Current percentages for the chance to win.
Yes, it's quite a tricky point in the game, isn't it, to answer this question? But
yeah, I think 20 overs too early to ask this game.
It's because it's too tricky.
At this current stage, I would definitely have Jersey. Almost your 70-30, 60-40 maybe.
Yeah.
But then with the large support coming from India and Nepal, I'm sure they only see one winner, regardless of what Jersey go and get. I'm sitting on the fence there a little bit. I don't know if that's answered your question, but am I right?
It's about the 50-50 mark,
so
which I think shows how well Jersey have done to get to that 50-50 mark. You're not far away there, Kaz. Swatted towards cow corner, entering the deep pocket where it's retrieved. A couple more runs. And I reckon if this ball goes for a boundary, it'd be a huge boost for Jersey and a kick in the teeth for Nepal. It feels like that over, doesn't it? A wicket's gone from it. It's been great pressure building. 1 wicket, 1-2-2. If this ball goes for a boundary, it's going to be a big momentum swing, I feel.
Pressure ball this.
Zach Tribe, the man in form on strike.
Hot balled. Hot balled.
Oh, that would have been out. It looked as if Zach Tribe last minute had to jump around the bowler.
And a great bit of sportsmanship there from Karen Casey, fist pumping Zach Tribe there, who's probably acknowledged the fact that he's had to jump around him to get in under pressure. Quality bit of sportsmanship there.
So the 4th wicket falling in the 47th over. Jonty Jenner falling for a well-made 27. And with 3 overs to go, 18 balls. Yes, 40 feels like a big ask, but with Zach Tribe on strike, Charlie Brennan in form, it's definitely on the cards.
40 off 18 in any practice situation, you'd take that on. You'd give it a go.
I'm just thinking, if let's say 300 was the total Jersey were chasing, and they were 4 down, and they needed 41 to win off 3 overs. Good length ball, hits the fielder though. It would obviously be more challenging because of the chase mentality, but it would definitely be on the cards.
Yeah, 100%. You'd expect anybody who's got 4 wickets down and 40 chasing. You'd want to show the intent to win the game and really go out there and make a name for yourself. 100%. Bowled.
Try backs away. Runs up towards long off. So we're approaching the 2:30 mark. Just 4 minutes away. I reckon they'll look to try and finish out these 50 overs, I reckon. But we'll see. What's impressed you about this death bowling from Nepal? What have they done well so far?
It's the first Yorker we've seen from that end, and I've been calling it for a while. Is they've got to change it up as much as possible, and they have. Karen Casey, the over before, has been impressive. I just don't think you can bowl length now on a wicket that's offering so much to the batters with pace. Got to take pace off especially to the likes of Zach Tribe, who's moved to 43 very, very quickly off 33 balls. You just can't give him pace on at this last stages of the game. I think Karen's done perfectly well in the over before, where he's looked to sort of ball block off, and these are really big balls for the context of the game.
Wide Yorker, brilliantly bowled. Brennan backing away to try and make room over the offside. And Nandan Yadav executed his plan perfectly. This feels better from Yadav, doesn't it? He's got a plan. He knows what he's trying to bowl here, and it's coming off for him.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I would want to see from fast bowlers coming in the back end of the game, is to go to their T20 sort of skill set and try and execute that, as opposed to just trying to keep hitting length with pace. You can't afford to do that in today's game. The world of cricket has evolved so much.
Brennan shaped up to hit that over mid-wicket for 6, but he only gets a single for it. Plenty of cricketing discussion going on from the boundary bar just to our left here at the pavilion end. And 2 balls left in this over, and it's been a top quality one so far. Just the 2 runs from it from Nandan Yadav, who's received a little bit of, well, at points he's been what felt like hit out of the attack. His first spell only lasting 2 overs, going for 14. Zach Tribe, deftly played, brilliant shot. That's a shot he's played so well. So many runs he's got through backward point. Just using the pace rather than trying to hit it away with force. 2-6-6 for 4 now.
Yeah, quality timing there from Zach Tribe there. 47 of 34 balls. He's shown some real quality in his skill set. His ability to accelerate very, very quickly. Excellent bit of batting.
That was a needed boundary in the over too, wasn't it? Just 2 runs in the first 4 balls up to that point. Can they go again, Zach Tribe? This will just be a single. Fielded out in the deep. So that ends the over then. Good one from Nandan Yadav. 7 runs from it. And with 2 overs to go, I must say that 300 mark of 33 runs from 12 balls does feel far away, but 4 wickets down, Jersey. It's now just swing for it, isn't it? Swing for it territory.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 balls left. Can Jersey try and get up to that magic number of, I would probably say, another 25 runs of 12? You're trying to get up into the 290 mark. Yeah, and if you're going to get a bonus, maybe get into the 300 psychological, going into the second innings. But it'll be up to the skill set of these 2 bowlers to counteract that punch.
Wicket in his last over for Karan. Full toss. Zach Tribe wants 2. This is going to be tight. Charlie Brennan's running to the danger end, and he's got past quickly. Good running from Jersey. I've got to say, mainly due to the man at the non-striker's end, who was quickly off his mark. Turned with agility, and it's 50 up for Zach Tribe from 36 balls. A terrific middle order knock.
Fantastic, exactly what Team Jersey want and required from the batting unit, especially after the start the 2 openers have given them. 36 ball, 50. See if you can kick on a little bit more now.
This is high. And long on takes the catch. Ishan Pandey with the safe hands. And Zach Tribe, the ball after reaching 50, goes next ball. And that feels like it might have knocked 5-10 runs off the final total. 269 for 5.
Yeah, 50 now. We're just giving him credit for the way he's managed to get himself in a really good position, and his team. Unfortunately, the ball after is almost got under it again too early. Just didn't quite get it. Didn't get the depth. Got the height, but didn't get the depth. A quality catch from Ishan Pandey out in the deep, making it look very, very comfortable. But overall, quality injection from Zach Tribe.
I might be throwing you a tricky question here, but you're a man who's up to the task. Why do you think we haven't seen? I feel like we've seen maybe one over the last 2 days of a 6 down the ground. Why do you think in white ball cricket it's such a common shot we see players thumping balls back over the bowler's head? As Karen Casey runs in, inside edge beats the keeper. That's going to help Jersey. They move to 2-7-3, and Samaroa, coming off a golden duck, so almost gets himself a king pair for the series. But it's a boundary, 2-7-3 for 5.
Quality question. I'm not sure what the answer is to that. I mean, you can question whether the batters are getting the length with the pace, whether they're coming down, hitting straight ball sixes. I mean, we had some quality batting the other day, but a lot of it was more towards cow corner over deep mid wicket.
Oh, slower ball, full toss. For a minute, it looked like it was going at head height, but the dip brought it down to a legal delivery.
I thought we almost had a Chris Reed repeat over it.
Anything could have happened as the ball was halfway down. For a minute I thought it was going to hit the keeper on the full. But how good's this been? The last couple of overs, Nepal have really arrested back control of this innings for Jersey. And at 2-7-4 for 5, it's a miracle to get to the 300 mark now. Brennan on strike though, 2 new batters. Brilliant slower ball. Kaz, you've been asking for this for ages. Now, finally, the bowlers are using pace off deliveries. They're varying their pace, and guess what? It's being pretty successful.
Yeah, and there's a high success rate for the variation delivery, and these two bowlers have got some fantastic variation, very deceptive in how they bowl it. But why not bowl it often enough in the closing stages of the game, especially with 2 new batters on who are not accustomed to the pace of the wicket, and it's not an absolute roar of a wicket where you can hit through the line. There's definitely some purchase there for the bowlers.
Waited and crunched. Great shot from Charlie Brennan. He's adjusted to the pace off delivery, waited and timed it perfectly with a big swing of the bat right off the middle. And it's now 2-7-8 for 5. Charlie Brennan building on his form from his half century on Monday. And Samaroa is also a batter that can use his power. But with 6 balls to go, Jersey staring down the potential of 300, but 22 from 6, not out of the question. They need a successful over. But it's the man who bowled a brilliant previous over, Nandan Yadav. Can he continue from it? Short, Samaroa doesn't quite get a hold of it. They're going to come back for 2. And now 280 is up for Jersey. We did say anything under 275 that Jersey would be disappointed with, and they've now got to a total they can, I think, be pretty proud of.
Decent total, that. I still think they might, the next 5 balls, try to get 10 runs if they can.
Can they get past 290?
I still think it's on.
Huge swing. And Binod behind the stumps was just waiting, wasn't he, to throw down the stumps. I think Charlie Brennan will just be thinking at the non-striker's end, I need to go on strike here. So with Nandan Yadav with ball in hand. Bowled 4 dots in his last 8 balls. Mistimed into the covers. Charlie Brennan's going to take the strike. And that's run out. And Samaroa is going to have to trudge off in the final over. He goes for 7. And Charlie Brennan is looking towards the umpires and he's desperate to keep the strike. So out comes Benjamin Ward. 1 in the first game. And he's got a clear job to do. I think the lower order batters enjoy these kind of moments. It's first innings, not much to lose. They can come in and have a swing of the bat.
Yeah, free for all. 3 balls left. Try and get your team over as much as possible. I still think this is the right move. Charlie running through to trying to get strike. Left-hander hitting towards a shorter boundary, even though there's a breeze out there. But a man in form, so he's definitely got a chance to contribute towards the back end of these 3 balls and help the team over.
Nandan Yadav. Huge swing from Charlie Brennan, goes through him. Another dot ball. This is a brilliant end. We did think, didn't we, that when he was bowling the short ball ploy early doors, it didn't really feel like his thing. This is more up his alley.
Yeah, he's finished off and recovered nicely. His last over was brilliant. He's come back into the game, especially after his first couple of overs that were quite expensive with the wrong ploy. I think he's done really well to come back in, trying to finish off his 6 overs.
Charlie Brennan, he's gonna look for 2. He has to. He says no. Benjamin Ward will face the final delivery. Think he should have run back for the second there?
He would have been run out if he did. It was a strong throw from Gulshan Jar from the boundary. Throwing with the wind as well. And he's a big lad with a strong arm. I would have really struggled to have made that. Last ball then.
Benjamin Ward the man. Nandan Yadav, his opponent. Can Ward with his first ball strike a blow? Pulled and missed. And it will just be a bye to end. On what feels a finish to... Well, it really feels like a balanced end to me. Jersey were in great positions at point to push for that 300 mark, but Nepal they fought back. And it's a great end to this first innings, which I think sets the tone for the rest of the day. And we could see a very, very tight finish a little bit later on today. The main point for me is at the halfway mark, 195 for 2. And now Jersey's hit 282 for 6 at the end of the 50. Who's the happier side?
Towards the back end, definitely Nepal. For me, I think they've just taken that little bit of momentum, closed the game out well enough. At one point, they were looking for another probably 25-30 runs, but credit to both sides. I think Jersey started off really, really well. Some fantastic individual scores, some really good, strong, competitive batting. But I just think Nepal have just shown their experience towards the back end. And I did say, and I've been saying it all along, the slower the deliveries, the varied the deliveries, the harder it becomes. And towards the back end, we saw a lot of that from the 2 fast bowlers that have come on. We've bowled in the block hole, we've taken pace off, and we've made it a little bit more difficult for the batting unit towards the back end. So credit to both teams, but overall I think Jersey will be extremely happy, and Nepal would have been taking the momentum into the second innings.
So just to build on that, as the leaf blows out to blow the dust away,
surely try to test them with that bounce.
Welcome back, everybody, to Grainville for the second half of the second one-dayer of the DFDS International Summer Series between Jersey and Nepal. Two big opening batters heading their way out to the crease, one of which, Kushal Patel, coming off the back of 100 in his last game, 105 he made here on Monday. Quick take through then of the first half of the game. 282 for 6 Jersey finished on after losing the toss, being put in to have a bat, and it was a brilliant opening stand. 115 for none they were before Carl Lyon fell for 56, and then, well, the collapse didn't come because Greenwood made 32 off 45, and in the meantime Patrick Gouge was finding his way towards triple figures, but he was dismissed just before by Sandeep Lamichhani for 95. John T. Jenner quickfire 27, and a brilliant 50 off 37 balls from Zach Tribe. And then Nepal finished out the bowling spell well, and they were able to really cling on to the Jersey onslaught, and they finished with Jersey on 282 for 6. I'm Charlie Harden. I'm joined alongside by Kasim Ali, former head coach of Kuwait cricket team. So Nepal will be chasing down 282. Cass, welcome back after a nice lunch.
Spectacular lunch. Cheesecake was fantastic. A little bit of lemon zest in it, so yeah, it was fantastic.
I saw you had a couple of slices.
Yeah,
of
I did
this.
have a couple of slices. Washed down nicely with a cup of tea. Very well made cup of tea. Yeah, it's great to be back in the second innings. Wind has just picked up a little bit, just blowing from right to left across the ground. And yes, you're right. Spectacular performance from Jersey in the first innings. They've really done well to put on the score of 282. At one point we did think it was about the 300 mark, but finished on 282. Nepal came back strong in the last 15 overs, especially in the last 10 overs where they really closed the game out.
Well, Daniel Birrell to start things off. Down the leg side, Kushal Patel looking to get a feather on it down towards fine leg for 4, but a wide ball to start. Daniel Birrell bowled very well for a couple of wickets in the first game on Monday, also batted well for 41. What kind of challenges will he provide for the Nepalese opening batters?
Well, one is bowling from the opposite end, so there's obviously a little bit of variable bounce, which will suit him and his deliveries. Speaking to him at the start of the game, he's really big on...
Flowing drive brings the edge.
He's really big on his variations. Very clever cricketer, and obviously producing the pitch kind of gives him a little bit of an extra advantage.
Yeah, Grainville groundsman Daniel Birrell. I feel like there's a groundsman stereotype of slightly being past their playing days, and Daniel Birrell really proves that wrong. Back of a length. Fellow opening batter to Kushal Patel, Asif Sheikh, the man with the gloves. He got off to a good start in the first game, however did have to go for a pretty rapid fire 16 before George Richardson dismissed him, and he's a man who is not around today for Jersey. So just the one slip in place. Daniel Birrell starting steady. Beautiful delivery. Not a huge amount of movement in the air, but a little bit of nip beats the edge. And there's a bit of interest early for the fast bowlers.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's doing all the right things, putting it on the right area. 4th stump line, good height, top of the stumps, good pace as well with the new ball. Doing all the right things, asking all the right questions early doors, and that's exactly what you want. And we kind of discussed this the other day, was a little bit hit and miss with the new ball, but good start so far.
And we imagine it will probably be Julius Samaroa from the near end, but we're yet to see. Two tall lads hitting the deck hard with this new ball. Jake Dunford with an all-time floppy hat behind the stumps. Very good look for a wicketkeeper. Kushal solid in defence. Just a dot ball. And Nepal looking for a calm, quiet start to this second innings.
And a slightly different task compared to the first game, where they'll be looking to chase down quite a large total. Obviously bowling second on here has its advantages, especially on a used wicket as well, and they've got some quality spinners to be operating a little bit later on. So the challenge is definitely there for Nepal.
First over goes for 3 then. And just a little flashback again to that first game when Nepal did bat first, as you mentioned there, Kaz. They could only clock up 250 with the bat. So now, with the chase on the mind, it's going to be a tricky chase for them to get all the way up to the 280 mark. That was well set by Jersey, thanks to 95 from Patrick Googe and half centuries for Zach Tribe and Harrison Carlyon. But it is Samaroa to get things started, who bowled really well at from this end on Monday. Bowled an absolutely snorting delivery to take the shoulder of Kushal Bertel's bat. That was when he was still in single figures. Let's see if he can emulate that from this end. Very full. Bowled. Samaroa gets rid of Asif Sheikh with his first ball of the game. Just what Jersey needed, an early breakthrough. And Nepal now 3 for 1 in the second over.
Great bit of bowling there. Surprise package. Everyone expected length to come up, especially with the way the field was set. He's gone full ball clatting into the stumps. As we see the replay, it's done him all ends up, and he can't believe what's just happened.
Well, the early breakthrough brings about Ishan Pandey to the crease. And it took Nepal 24.1 overs to get there first. And Jersey make the breakthrough in 7 balls. And Samaroa started straight away with a full Yorker on the stumps. Do you reckon that might have been intentional?
Yeah, it looked intentional. From a big chap coming down, obviously you don't expect it, so maybe that was a surprise ball. But it's something that I spoke about the other day, having seen him for the first time. He does have a tendency of just falling over a little bit. Maybe that's an area that they've looked to exploit early doors to try and get him either hitting on the pads or like he's just on there, get the ball to slip through and hit the stumps.
No ball called by the umpire, so we'll see our first free hit of the day. And it's going to be Ishan Pandey's second ball he's faced. It's going to be the free hit. Fine leg and third man of the men back. So he'll certainly be looking to club this away in front of square. Maybe he'll try and use the crease to Samaroa with a bowler of bounce. Where do you reckon you can find a boundary here?
Early doors. Maybe that's the boundary option there. The pull shot off the slightly ball that's drifted down leg side.
And it means the free hit's going to be re-bowled. And so we'll see Samaroa potentially receive an extra ball of punishment. Some way to follow up a wicket with no ball and wide. Saved by the stumps at the non-striker's end. Now, Ishan Pandey is an interesting one. He came in yesterday, mid-collapse, and he fell pretty quickly. And so he'll be looking to put on a show for Nepal. Try and stamp his mark on this team. And if Jersey can get a couple early, they'll be far ahead in this game. Solid from Pandey. How much do you reckon the required run rate will weigh on the batter's minds at this point in the game? Maybe for the first 10-15 overs, do you reckon they'll be thinking about it at all, or just try and build their innings?
No. As batters would go in the first 15 overs, definitely not. I think it's about building a platform, and if you can get to around the 70 mark of the first 15, leave 35 to get 200 with the game opening up. Yeah, definitely. You want to be in around the 75-100 mark. That's a really good platform to have.
So Summerall still a couple of balls left due to the early extras. As we see Charles Pershard putting in some stretches at mid-off. I wonder if we might see him being brought on for an early bowl. Summerall finds a good line of length, but Pandey equal in defence. And Kushal Patel knows exactly how to score runs on this wicket. He'll be waiting for the ball to be pitched short. And Jersey definitely will be looking to stay patient. Right there. That's exactly where Jersey want to be bowling, as many deliveries as possible. Because in the first game, they let Nepal off a little bit in the second innings, and they were able to score runs at a good rate. However, Jersey are holding strong and not giving Nepal too much to work with in the first 2 overs, and they've got the wicket. Nepal 7 for 1, and Kushal Patel will be back on strike to Daniel Birrell. Daniel Birrell taking the 2 key middle order wickets of the captain Rohit Patel, and also the man at the non-striker's end, Ishan Pandey. Now, we saw a few of those in the first game from Kushal Patel early on in his innings, looking to get bat on ball. But once he was 20 runs into his innings, we all of a sudden saw very little. So this is the time to strike for Kushal. When he gets in, he is so dangerous. Maybe a little bit of a change in pace early on from Birrell. Patel getting through that shot very quickly. We've said it a lot. I think we would be both happy to see the Jersey bowlers vary their pace.
Yeah, and what it does early does, it does take you away from the run chase a little bit, but it also allows you to bring a different dimension in without putting some pace onto the ball. Makes it harder for timing, and it also allows shots to be played on the up, which effectively brings in some chances to catch the ball. So mistakes do happen.
And it looks as if Birrell is just ever so slightly changing his pace. They're not big, obvious slower balls. However, Patel again, just as you mentioned, driving on the up there, perhaps getting through a shot slightly early. Clipped through mid-wicket. Slightly on the up. Chases on for Patrick Googe. Terrific work. That tells you everything you need to know about Patrick Googe. Scored 95, faced over 100 balls in the first innings, and he's running across the outfield as if it was first thing bright and early in the morning. Top quality from him.
Great commitment, and that's the intent you want to see from your fielders. He's really committed to the cause there, chasing after that ball. Full pelt dive, a roll over the boundary rope, push the ball back. Fantastic bit of work from the team there, the two partners going out in tandem. Great bit of cricket there from Jersey fielders.
And that's the kind of moment that will keep up the body language, keep up the Jersey momentum. And this is a nice angle now, even though that's wide of the stumps. This angle from Birrell, from round the wicket to left-handed Pandey, just a slight amount of away shape, could be successful here for Jersey.
Yeah, and Pandey's got to be very careful. He's got to be very decisive in terms of what he's doing with his decision making, what he's looking to leave, what he's looking to push out, what he's looking to commit to. He's got to be really decisive. If anything, where there's a lack of decision making, he's nicking off to the keeper or first slip.
Yeah, you feel there's a lot of pressure on Pandey here. Want to get into his knock. Pacing around. Full, driven. Good effort from Jonty Jenner. Patrick Googe's got another chase on. Look how fast he's across the outfield, but the ball wins this time. And it's a boundary for Nepal, and they move to 15 for 1. So now Charles Pashard has ball in hand. He's giving it to Samaroa. But he looks very, very interested to have a bowl. Does Chuggy. Samaroa just a 1 over in his spell so far. And with the wicket, will not want to be brought off. That's for sure. Field spread, so fine leg and third man, still the only man allowed out. Everyone else on the ring, other than cover that's a few paces in, trying to protect that single in the offside. Here's Samaroa. And this will bring about the biggest cheer we've heard from the Jersey players if they can dismiss Kushal Patel early.
Yeah, he's quite an important wicket, isn't he? Especially after back of 100. And probably the main contributor, the only contributor really in the first innings in the game on Monday.
Clipped. Beautiful. From Kushal Patel. You can see it's just got to the top of the ramp there, picked up by some Nepalese fans at deep mid-wicket. And Kushal Patel picking up where he left off from Monday. And that is a gorgeous stroke. Just a swish of the bat face, 19 for 1.
Gift at this stage of the game, especially with a brand new ball, second over in, second ball in. You cannot be bowling full pitch deliveries leg stump to a person of his calibre.
And there he goes again. 2 and 2. 1 over pitched, 1 too short. And a player of Kushal Patel's quality will not miss out on either. He is top class. 23 for 1 now.
Change of field after them 2 consecutive back-to-back boundaries. Deep square leg going out. Second slip coming into mid-wicket.
Yeah, the third man stays out, doesn't he? And short fine leg is inside the ring, as you mentioned there. So Julius Samaroa He's now got some work to do. He brings deep square slightly straighter. Back on the mark. But now no pressure on Kushal Patel. He's 12 off 10 balls. And I can now understand, as you mentioned in the first innings, Kaz, about Kushal's gym experience. The power in those two boundaries at the start of this over, especially the flick over mid-wicket. Not only timing, but he just carries so much power.
Yeah, and it seems effortless at the moment, the way he's stroking them deliveries. But once it leaves that bat, you know it's going to the boundary. The sound, the impact, but also the intent to play the shot is there as well. So, yeah, great bit of cricket. And obviously, for youngsters that are watching, gymming is important, but having the right muscle capacity to play your shots as well, all 360. It's not about just being strong and big in the gym. It's about being explosive as well.
Well guided. This should just be a single. Oh, they're running on the misfield. Summerer's not going to be too happy about that, that's for sure. But that ends the over then. And Nepal are just starting to get into their stride here. And just to remind those of you who aren't aware of Kushal Patel's last 5 scores in international cricket, they're 129, 126, 20, 65, 105. Kushal Patel is hungry for runs. He's not going to stop until this chase is done. So Daniel Birrell continue from the far end. And Jersey sticking with the slip in the gully for the moment, although he's having a chat with his skipper, Charles Pashard. What do you reckon will be the discussions there, Kaz?
I think it'll be a case of whether they're going to move the field round or they're going to get a short man in catching. I think the question here is, do you want to have somebody out deep, which is exactly what's happening right now with short third coming up into the ring. Yeah, having a deep cover out, just to give that extra cover for the left-hander, especially after the exquisite drive in the last over.
You can just see short third man on the right side of your shot there. The gully's gone into cover, and as you mentioned, that deep cover point is on the rope. And there's someone bowling to his field. Good amount of away swing there from Birrell. He's swinging it with the wind. And that'll be a very promising sign for him. And Ishan Pandey will be slightly worried. But this, at least that protection allows him just to hover it outside that off stump and hopefully build up some pressure.
Yeah, some really good tactic here. Backed up with equally some brilliance in the ball. It's what you want to be doing. Good line and length. If anything, I would love to see another second slip in there. With that level of movement that he's getting, bounce.
Oh, blimey. Great stop from Dumford. I was just thinking where you could find that second slip from. And as I saw the ball go down the leg side, all of a sudden I think fine leg's probably got to stay there. But fine leg would have been my thought. If Birrell was confident enough to hold it outside the line of off stump, there's where you could find your second slip.
Yeah, for me, I would have probably gone mid-wicket coming across and mid-on going slightly wider, especially if the swing is there. If that delivery is there and he's targeting the pads, I'd love to go 7-2 field as opposed to 6-3 with mid-on going wide around. But equally, if he's going to hold that line, doing really well so far.
Yeah, and it's one thing, if anything, we've seen a slight difference between the two bowling sides, is that Nepal have been happier and more confident to stay aggressive, being more aggressive and for longer, keep the extra catches in. But this is good areas here from Birrell. And Pandey struggling to get him away.
Yeah, his options are minimal at the moment. Where he really wants to be doing is driving through cover and extra cover, which is a high risk option right now with the ball moving so much. He's just got to be patient and wait for a moment of error from the bowler.
Chance. Oh, he's just gone past the stumps. That would have been very close. Well, backed up in the end by Patrick Googe. He seems to be everywhere, the young man. And the pass at 26 for 1, which feels a good comeback after being 3 for 1 in the second over. So you see some children playing in the nets at long on. And again, Birrell is bowling well to this field. That's where he needs to hold it. And Pandey, it's now going to be a test of patience. How many times can he let a wide ball just go past? How long can he stay patient?
And from my perspective, the longer he stays in, the longer I would keep on Birrell. Bowling really well from that end.
There is a shot, slightly in anger. Patrick Googe is running around, he can't quite make it. And I don't think Jersey will mind that. That shows that their plan's working. That Isham Pandey let the moment get the better of him and went out for an aggressive shot. It worked a treat, but potentially could have given a chance. That ends the fifth over, 30 for 1.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it was a pressure release shot.
And it looks like we're going to see a bowling change here. Potentially. Van Breede. Scott Van Breede wasn't available for the game on Monday. But he bowls a heavy ball, does Van Breede, that's for sure. Quite an ominous looking fast bowler. Again, having conversations with his skipper, Charles Bouchard, discussing a potential fielding change. Everyone on the offside in the ring, other than third man, just past a slightly deepish gully. Jake Dunford is up to the stumps. Also a short fine leg in the top right corner of your screen. That's Daniel Birrell there. Deep square leg as well. Right into Dunford's gloves. Now there's a big gap out here at mid-wicket. Deep square leg is slightly in front of square, but a stacked out offside field. Now it's up to Van Breede to bowl to it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's asking questions about trying to just bowl to the offside field.
Bit of extra bounce, good work behind the stumps, and a loose shot from Patel.
It's taken off a bit, that.
Dunford definitely would not want that to be on the central line of his body, otherwise he could be taken out on the grill. It's our first real sign of Van Breede, and he's a big man. Not sure I'd be standing up to this guy. He's bowling with power. It's going to be a good matchup here, these two. Van Breede against Patel. Uppercut. Not under control, but it's in the gap. And there's going to be 4 more. Nepal moved to 34 for 1. Is this just another sign of potentially what Jersey got wrong on Monday with the ball?
I don't think the plan is wrong. I think the execution of the delivery, just providing too much width to a batter like Kushal, who's not going to miss out on that, especially coming from a T20 background as well. He's not going to miss out on width outside off stump. So I think he needs to get tighter.
Well, he's gone too full. Is this a chance? It's Nick Greenwood who does the fielding. For a moment, he thought he was in the game there. It was always just a couple of metres beyond him, and he was moving across the turf with rapid pace. He almost forced a chance out of nothing there. But Van Breda did bring his line slightly tighter, and it brought about a potential moment. So 1 ball left in the over. Can Van Breda make something happen with Patel on strike? End of the 6th. 36 for 1. They're going at a good rate here, Nepal, but again, it feels like just every now and again, Jersey just gifting Kushal a delivery to put away.
Yeah, too many boundary balls in the first 6 for my liking. Just need to be a little bit tighter. Player of Kushal's experience will not miss out on that. Ishan on the other side, 10 of 14. Capitalise where he needs to, but is slightly under the pump here because he's got Beryl coming in and bowling against him. The ball swinging away still, assisted very nicely with the breeze as it's going across the ground. So there's challenges for the left-hander.
Short down the leg side. Just glanced on his way with the pull shot. It's Scott Van Breda who does the fielding. Big screaming cheer from Nepalese supporters. A couple of flags flying around today. It's like the away end of a football ground.
Not much to cheer though today.
We've had a few wickets, but they took a while to come, didn't they?
We've not had the speaker out as well today.
No, I know.
Not heard that.
I kind of think it puts you off. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on the microphones, but quite often the fans are yelling and screaming as the bowler's running in. And I'm sure these players are used to the cheer and the hope towards a delivery, but when there's one person doing it, it almost seems slightly more distracting.
I'm sure the Nepal players are having come from India in the World Cup when you got 30,000-40,000 people screaming Wankhede Stadium as they played England.
Yeah, they'd have been used to it there. It's well timed out into deep mid wicket. And Gouge is the man again. You'd think, after a 95, just have a little moment in slip, have a bit of time in the slip cordon and take a breather.
Absolutely not. Young lad.
He's running all the yards at the minute, isn't he?
Young lad, lots of energy. In the game, might take a screamer out there, get man of the match award.
Patel advances and cracks the shot of the day through the covers. A beautiful cricket shot from Patel. And this is ominous for Jersey as the man in form is racing along to 26.
Beautiful cricket shot. For any kids that are watching or listening out there, the weight transfer, the execution of the shot, the hands going through the line of the ball, the weight distribution, using his head to get over the top of the toe. Beautiful, beautiful cricket shot.
And again, this is helped down to Van Breda. Patel gets a single. I think what's slightly worrying is the rate Nepal are going at. And Ishan Pandey's had to force a few boundaries, but it feels everything Kushal has been given, he's put away in no time.
Yeah, Kushal's done really well. 27 off 23 balls. Ishan just slightly behind, 11 off 15. But at this stage, it's not a big worry. They've done really well so far to get to this stage.
And Birrell is back on the mark to Paul Isham, who's been watching Kushal Patel tuck into some slightly loose deliveries. And meanwhile, every ball he seems to get seems to be Birrell's best one. Maybe Birrell's just got a little bit more confidence bowling to the man he dismissed on Monday. But that ends the over. It's 44 for 1. And Nepal feel on top. So 7 overs gone. Just a tick over 6 runs and over at the minute, Nepal. As we have a quick look at the bowling figures, Samaroa, 1 for 14 from his 2. And I think it's that far right column which tells you the problem at the minute. The economy. No bowler has really been able to build up significant pressure and dot balls. And what Nepal was so good at, especially that opening spell from the likes of Sompal Kami and Hemant Dami. They bowled well in a partnership. They didn't give away too much from either end.
Comes in for the second over.
Just a lens on it there to Kushal. Good slide from him. 2 more runs added. Again, it's slightly worrying signs there for Jersey, just because of how easy it looks for Nepal.
Yeah, I think waiting for something to happen. But they're doing all the right things. I mean, fielders in the right place, sort of trying to bowl a time outside stump. Not there though.
That's going to away. It's been well retrieved. Number 23. Returning here on Wednesday. And Scott Van Breeder on his hands here. Try it. Now box Isham Pandey, who we can all agree Birrell held very well to so far today, not giving him much at all. Now it's Van Breeder's chance to keep the pressure on him. And as a team, as a group, as he can stop the run scoring from this end in particular. And there's Van Breeder, right on the mark. Good delivery.
Exactly what you want to end up fisting him up for the first time. That's attack. Good offside field. Got 4 men on the leg side. 5 balls.
Champagny pushing with confidence. However, he's yet to really get into his mark just because of the quality of the bowling toward him. Jersey will just hope that they can build. Maybe Jake Dumfries just said something to him there, maybe a little bit too late to Isham Pandey. A few smiles out in the outfield. As Scott Van Breeder with his luminous green spikes runs away from us. Now something's building here for Jersey. If they can keep something like this up for maybe 2 or 3 overs, yes, Nepal are already in a good position, but it just feels like if they can join something together, if they can build a bit of something, they can get a wicket here. They've wrestled this game right back. And there there's clearly what was building. Ishan Pandey feels like a player who's slightly searching at the minute.
Yeah, he's not really getting into the ball as you would like from a left-hander's perspective. He seems to be away from it every time he's connecting, and I really feel the Jersey bowlers are looking to target him to get a wicket, because at the other end you've just got the wall of Kushal, who seems to be punching this ball all around the ground. But yeah, Ishan looks a bit tentative for me at the moment.
Well, he'll be wanting to spend a bit of time at the crease. We're going to see a little bit of spin for the first time in this series from Jersey's opening batter, Harry Carlyon. Scored a brilliant half century in the first dig. And just as Nepal went early to Lalit Rajbanshi, can Carlyon make something happen? In the air, caught! At extra cover. No? Down. I think that's gone down into the ground there off the drive. I've been done by the bump ball. You're cracking up next to me.
I am, because that was a schoolboy experience.
I couldn't quite understand, like, yeah, he's gone for a lofted drive straight to cover, first ball.
I love the excitement. What was also really exciting for me is to see how close your head was to the roof of this
tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost collapsed it with a leap.
Beautiful cricket shot.
He really holds the key, doesn't he? He is everything for Nepal at the minute. Yes, they've got the skipper to come in next. DSRA, I'm sure, will want to have a bat in this game as well. But it really does feel like this man is the crucial wicket.
Yeah, he certainly is. Holds a lot of expectations for a very big country with 30 million supporting him. I'm pretty sure that he's living up to every bit of expectation so far, and he's done really well. Just looks so in control. What I'm really impressed with him is the fact that he's so in control of the time at the crease. Doesn't look like he's fazed by anything, and certainly not rushed up. I haven't seen anybody rush him up so far. We had the one delivery which popped up in the innings the other night, which took off the shoulder blade, but that's about it.
Tell you one thing I've also just remembered, and this was a bit of an unforced error, but when he was dropped on 50 on Monday, just at backward point by John Tijen, it was a tricky chance, but those two moments, other than that, it's almost perfection from Patel. So that one just picks up on a length as well, and that's the height of Van Breda. It's what we saw from Samaroa over the couple of games from this end, is that tennis ball bounce with the ball coming from such height.
Yeah, and if anything, the off spinner coming on again from the other side with a big breeze going down the leg side, maybe just wants to question whether it's drift that's on offer.
What a brilliant cricket shot. Kushal Patel is letting nothing not reach the boundary that deserves to. Patrick Good sprinting along that outfield. He's already had to do plenty of ball collecting from around the covers. A deep point, but the poor man got 95 and is now picking up all of Bertel's boundaries for him. You're right, he looks so in control at the minute, does Bertel. And inside the first 10, he's almost heading towards his 50.
The bit that I'm curious about is you've got the big tall lad Scott bowling from this side with a packed outside offside field. Now if he was to switch ends and pack it out being hit into the wind, and the off spinner coming in from this side, bowling into the wind.
Yeah.
You're tightening up the game a bit more. And just bowl a negative line, just bowl into your field for a little bit longer. You don't give them the width to then hit long boundaries over there. Just not sure what the plan is to the right-hander. (13 of 26). What it does do potentially might put on extra pressure on the other side to Kushal to keep ticking the board over. You do need somebody to anchor in the innings. But you also want to make sure that you're playing some positive cricket shots as much as possible. You just don't want to leave too much responsibility on Kushal. Got a change of bowling from the calling it the other end?
The far end.
The far end.
Drive on the up. Good stop from Daniel Birrell. Prevents the run. But I reckon that's the one area Kushal Patel looks slightly vulnerable. He's driving on the up, slightly mistiming drives through the covers.
You're right. How about a little short cover in there and the catch?
Pulled just over mid-wicket. Not quite time, but the outfield's fast and it goes away for 4. Now it's Charlie Brennan who's replaced Patrick Googe deep on the leg side. And he's the one to go and pick it up. 4 more.
Good cricket shot. Again, he's not really got a hold of that, but the power, the brilliance, race to the boundary.
See, when the pace is on, he plays it under his eyes and down into the ground, often putting it away with timing. But it does feel, when the ball just slightly sticks, he can get little bit out of the line of where his head is, a little bit outside the off stump, slightly pushy, maybe slightly bottom-handed through the offside. I'd say that's the one area that I can see Jersey could take his wicket. Maybe a short catcher in an extra cover, something like that. But that's classy. Played down towards third man. Good fielding down there. By the tall Scott Van Breda. And Nepal moves swiftly to 65 for 1, and Kushal Patel is 4 runs off a 50 in the 11th over. And there's a bumper from Samaroa.
Wowzers.
He's gone through quite some pace and well over head height, but Patel looking to take it on. He's in that kind of mood.
Kushal now 46 from 35. Just looks in sheer control. Sheer control, lots of timing. Lots of time at the crease.
He's looking to push for 2 here. Placed like a master into the leg side, perfectly in a pocket free of converging Jersey players, and he gets back safely for a second run. And he's 2 runs away now, 1 ball left. Kushal Patel, I think you'd be very surprised about his 50 over average for Nepal. Incredibly surprised. Oh, he's almost dragged it on though. Maybe again that sign of slightly variable bounce causing an issue. But yes, Kushal Patel's stats. Averaging with the bat in 50 over cricket, 24.
Wow.
So showing that he's not quite reached his full potential, and the form he's in now could send his stats skyrocketing. But now, a conference, a conflab, Pershard, Van Breda, Dunford all discussing, and the conclusion they've come to is a change of bowling. Charles Pershard marking out his run, the Jersey skipper. Wealth of experience, looking to stem the flow of run scoring. But they have taken a leaf out of Nepal's book, it feels, with the short, sharp spells, keep bowlers rotating. And maybe that was the reason that despite the Jersey batters being able to get in, especially at the top of the order, they never really felt like they got away from Nepal. Maybe that was because of the constant changes of bowling and didn't allow the batters to settle. So Jersey have learnt from that. Benjamin Ward has been subbed on. Whether we'll see from him later, we'll yet to see. I'm sure Jersey will need some of his leg spin. He's been pushed out to long on, and now he's had to run back in. Square legs deep on the boundary. Third man's out, deep cover, long off as well. Pershard beats the bat, and this is going to be an interesting period of the game now. How can Patel deal with a little bit of pace off? How will the Nepalese batters counter this change in pace?
Be interested to see, because I think Prasad coming on now is a fantastic change-up. Just what you need. Variable bounce, lots of variation with deliveries. Great choice.
Well, they discussed for a long time at the top of his mark whether they'd stick with one more from Van Breda, who showed moments of a potential wicket-taking delivery. But he also did let just a couple go away to the boundary. So Charles Pershard hasn't had a bad start. So long on now goes deep. Third man inside the circle. Just the 4 men out at the minute for Jersey. And Pandey pushing off the front foot. Not much foot movement as wind blows across the ground, and Pandey motioning a bit of movement away from him.
He's looked very tentative, very scratchy at the crease, unfortunately. The danger is that he gives a soft dismissal here, having taken up 27 balls for his 13.
Well, you can see, can't you? Look at the two different strike rates between the two batters. The sign of a man in form and the man searching for some. Bashard. Right on the money. Hospitality marquee. Really enjoying that delivery from Chuggy. This feels like an important part of this innings now for Jersey, just to bring back the game back into their way. Pandey needs a few more balls like that, I think, just to keep his score ticking along.
Some easy ones off his hip.
Indeed.
71 for one, sorry, off 11.5, and they are there or thereabouts, like we sort of discussed earlier on. If they can get to, which they have done, just under 7 and over.
Look how easy it looks for Patel right now. Good ball from Bashar, just dropped into the offside, and there's 50. Not sure his teammates had even noticed, to be honest. A little raise of the bats to the fans. 50 coming off 40 balls to a man who's completely in command of his own game. Nothing's phasing him, putting everything away to the boundary that deserves to. He's already halfway to what feels like what almost would be a nailed-on 100. I said it. Can Samaroa get rid of him? The ball after 50. Sneaky single. Moves to 51.
And this is something that Nepal have done really, really well. Just drop and go. I've seen it in the Jersey innings as well. But this is something I've seen consistently now from Nepal. Just dropping inside the ring, trusting your partner, and off you go.
Back of a length from Samaroa. Yeah, Kushal Patel not quite having the impact he would have liked on the big stage of the men's T20 World Cup back in earlier this year in time. Just the 78 runs from his 4 innings. And just by watching him go about his business here, he feels like a player who should now be in a position to really start scoring big runs on the big stage.
Yeah, he should be. He's definitely been given the opportunities. Maybe that's the contribution that he needs to put in during this tour and the next one. Going to be really crucial for him, for the people who are backing him and supporting him.
Samaroa with a switch of ends from where he started. That's quick. Good pace past the outside edge of Ishan Pandey, who seems to be getting all the good balls at the minute. I think Kushal Patel will just be saying to him, just keep going. Time at the crease is what you need. Patel's taking on the run scoring so that Pandey doesn't really have to at the minute. Slashing cut shot past the diving fielder, Jonty Jenner, who this team all know is brilliant in the gully region. Just beyond his reach, and another boundary for Nepal off the bat of Ishan Pandey. And every single one of those is going to give him confidence. 77 for 1 in Nepal.
Absolutely. I'm not sure where that aggression has come from.
Well, it feels like he's looking at his score. Pats that one down. When your mate's going all guns blazing at the other end, making it look absolutely easy, how does it feel as a batter who's slightly searching for form?
I think the key thing here is, again, another little coaching tip for youngsters or anybody who's listening in. If you're struggling to have a little bit of form and you've got a guy at the other end who seems to be absolutely nailing everything and seems to be in position and rotating strike and seems to be cashing in, I think your job is not to look for boundaries. Your job is to look for singles and get the opposite person on strike as much as possible. You don't need to do anything flashy, anything out of the ordinary, anything that you're not comfortable with. Just find a single from somewhere. And over time that will build your confidence up and you will start striking the ball, confidently over time. But if you're struggling early doors, put the boundary option away unless it's really on offer and find a single.
It's gone high up in the air. It might have gone all the way, but no, the fielder's underneath it. It's gone. Benjamin Ward with the catch. And that is a massive wicket for Jersey. It's brought a huge applause from the crowd here as the Nepal main man, straight off the back of a century, gets to 50 and gets dismissed. Bit of bounce from Pershad, and who would have thought that he'd be the man to bounce out Kushal Patel. 77 for 2, huge wicket.
Absolutely huge in the context of the game. The man in form, obviously hitting into the breeze, doesn't help. It's held up for an awfully long time, and more importantly, a comfortable catch in the deep. Great wicket for Jersey. 77 for 2 off 13.1. Skipper breaks the shackles there, and Edwards taking the catch.
So Bim Sharkey's the new man. Made a good 39 yesterday. What was so impressive about Sharkey? What did he do well that might be important for Nepal?
Looked to rotate the strike, did really well. Early doors, was busy at the crease, just towards the back end from what I can remember. Just tailed off and got a little bit under pressure. The danger is you don't continue to do that with Ishan at the other side. 18 from 34. Bim really needs to get into the game and take some leadership. Be interesting to see how well he strikes, how well he gets into a position.
Right then, Charles Bashar with the wicket. And Benjamin Ward with the catch. Or maybe it's not Benjamin Ward. We'll see on the scorecard a little bit later. And if we are wrong, I'm sure we can correct you a little bit later on. So Bashar making a few changes, and it's game on. Bim Sharkey will look to rotate, look to stay busy. Isham Pandey now will be battling to keep the scoreboard ticking after he's lost his playing partner. And Sharkey defensive. I think what could happen now for Nepal is Bim Sharkey, despite him being active, being positive at the crease, he did go through quite a long spell where he wasn't able to score. Isham Pandey also at this current time is struggling to keep his rate up, struggling to score. And what we now could see is two Nepalese batters come in and maybe start to delay this chase. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The danger is you've got two batters who are very similar. I mean, Sharkey straight away showed some intent to try and run a quick single. single wasn't on, but the intent was there.
Edged off the outside half with a cut shot running down to third man. Now the fielder out there, who I thought was Benjamin Ward, is Dominic Blompe. So, mistaken identity. It's their caps. They've both got such aged jersey caps here. They look so similar. Similar number 2. Anyway, Pashad set to continue. Pushing drive from Pandey. Isn't it funny how one player can just look so at ease and the other two really struggling out there? Bim's only had 4 balls, so I'm not saying he's really struggling, but Pandey does look to be a little bit in the mud at the current moment. But new bowler Benjamin Ward to come on. He was classed with a leg spin on Monday. Bowled very well.
Yeah, 2 things here, Charlie. One, Benjamin Ward has got a very distinctive beard, which I'm sure you've realised when you announced who the catcher was. And 2, I'm pretty sure if this is his approach to the game, that's completely fine, but he cannot put added pressure on from the opposite end.
Well, just at the start of this new over, we've been welcomed by a special guest, a Jersey legend, in fact. Welcome, Asa Tribe. Good to have you.
That's very kind. Thanks for having me, Charlie.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Very good. Enjoyed the first half of my day with watching Jersey bat, and hopefully they can get over the line here.
Bit gutted you're not playing?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously nice to put a Jersey shirt on, isn't it? As always.
I'll shut up towards long on. Bim Sharkey scampering away. Thought about it too, but just the single added. Talk to us about your relationship with Jersey and what it means to play for this team.
Yeah, it's obviously my home country. It's where I'm from. Always loved playing for Jersey and did that up until when I started playing for Glamorgan, and I really enjoy putting that Jersey shirt on, as I mentioned before, and it's who I love playing for.
And this challenge for the Jersey boys, Nepal, I'm sure again a challenge you'd love to have been involved in, but what are the challenges this team face? And also, I assume the Jersey players would be thoroughly looking forward to challenge like this, right? To test themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there could be a side we could be playing at the end of the year if results go our way. And look, some of the challenges I think we're looking at, obviously we haven't played a side like this before. That would be the first one. And then I'd probably look at the fact that look, their playing style's a bit different to ours. They kind of hit a bit more square of the wicket. Seem to be quite aggressive against spin and other pace, whereas we kind of are a bit more English style, get ourselves in and then have a look. So yeah.
And your brother Zach in this side, he's been in some pretty good form of late for Jersey. Got a good 50 today. What's it like playing alongside him at this level?
Yeah, it's brilliant, really. I can't complain at all, and that's part of the reason why I do like playing for Jersey. Playing with my brother is a great experience that not everyone gets to do, and I'm grateful for having that opportunity.
And just a question from my perspective, as a Jersey side, obviously so close to World Cup qualification earlier in the year. Do you, as a side, really back yourselves to get into that position to be able to get to a World Cup and compete? Is that is the drinks 79 for 2 Nepal?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as we just missed out on net run rate at the most previous T20 World Cup qualifiers, that was a bit of a hammer blow. But I tell you what it did do for us is it made us realise how close we actually are. And look, the 50 over competition, look, we are a bit further away from that. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat that, but the T20, yeah, we're right in the mix for that, absolutely. And you see a side like Italy go there and they were able to pull off a nice win when they're at the World Cup, so I don't see why we couldn't get to a World Cup and really compete.
And Jersey not playing a huge amount of 50 over cricket at the minute. Why do you think that is? And as a side, moments like this to play 50 over cricket against teams like Nepal are a great experience. Do you kind of hope as a side you could play more?
Yeah, I think so. And look, I think the only way you're going to get better at that is by playing this 50 over cricket. So I think that's certainly something we'll strive to do more of. And as our cricket gets better and we try and get into World Cups, we'll get more funding, and that'll allow us to play bilateral series against these kind of guys and really push our game forward. And look, I hope in future, if we do get ODI status and things like that, we can have lads who are officially centrally contracted, right, to the board, and that would be a really big step forward for Jersey.
Let's move on. It's perfectly timed drinks break, actually. Let's move on to your England hopes. What would it mean to a little bit further down the line? You feel like you've got a lot more work to do, got a bit more work to do. Do you feel close? And what would it mean to get an England call up eventually?
Yeah, look, I'm always trying to improve my game. I think that's something I always want to do. I never like stagnating. That's not really the personality I am. So, yeah, whatever walk of life, I try to grow. And look, there's aspects of my game that I've really pinpointed and wanted to get better at. And yeah, look, I've obviously got aspirations to play for England, and I'll play for Jersey up until that point, really. And look, the current ECB setup has allowed people like myself and other younger lads to really get pigeonholed into playing international cricket, which I think is a great thing, but also can be a little bit of a burden. So yeah, I've got high aspirations to play for England, and look, whether that's sooner or later, who knows.
And before we move on to your England Lions stuff, how, in terms of you ended up getting your opportunity at Glamorgan, playing university cricket, do you think that's a way in that almost doesn't happen as often? Do you feel like that should be a more common route in? Yeah, look, I think the Cardiff UCC setup has actually produced quite a lot of Glamorgan cricketers. Of the current staff, I look at myself, Will Smale, you've got Dan Douthwaite, you've got Andy Gorvin, so there's a few in there, and Tom Bevan, he's just been released, unfortunately. But yeah, it was creating quite a nice little pathway for people like myself to come through and sort of see that as an avenue to playing in professional cricket, and then once you're in professional cricket, it's about keeping yourself there, really. Well, as Charles Bouchard gets things underway after the first drinks break, England Lions then. Talk about your experiences under the leadership of Freddie Flintoff, about the characters in that side. Playing for England Lions will come with its challenges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a quick single here, good running.
Yeah, I think, look, I've had a couple of experiences there now, and my first initial one was one where I was able to gel with the group first, with a couple of Loughborough tours, or kind of trips to Loughborough, before we actually went to Australia for a Red Bull kind of camp. Before getting stuck in some matches out there, and obviously we were alongside the main side, kind of shadowing the test squad. So that was a great experience in itself. And yeah, being around other guys there who are super talented, just learning off them was super important for my own game, to really kind of push myself forward there. And you see kind of how serious other guys are taking it there, and it really drives you forward as well to be the ultimate professional, really.
And being alongside a touring Ashes squad, was that I'm imagining, pretty incredible experience to be out there at the same time? How much, I guess, collusion was there with the main men's side? Yeah, there was a little bit of overlap, especially at the start when we were in Loughborough before we got to
before we actually got to Australia, and then I think the first scheduled training session was supposed to be the whole group, lines and test squad. It didn't end up being the case because apparently the wickets were wet, so
nice.
Didn't happen in that way, but I suppose that's probably a good thing, not having to face Jofra on a wet one. So take the small benefits there, I guess.
Well, we all know deep down, or at least hope, especially I imagine here in Jersey, the hope for you to eventually get that call up. But you're definitely a player of quality. I saw you at I commentated on you actually at Glamorgan the other day
Against Warwickshire.
Closed that game out nicely, 38 not out, 100 approaching. In terms of how you feel in the shorter formats compared to the longer form stuff, how do you feel like you are best placed to impact on sides like a Welsh Fire? Where do you see your role in that side?
Yeah, look, I'm looking at that squad, and the depth in batting is seriously talented, it's seriously good, and look, it's going to be tough for me to kind of get myself into that. But I suppose catching that all.
Just pulled away past a short fine leg. Benjamin Ward's diving in vain. It's another boundary that moves Nepal to 90 for 2, and Ishan Pandey just starting to get into his rhythm. Good shot from him. And in terms of how that experience, just off the pitch as well, being around such a strong squad, strong overseas, and also the likes of Phil Sard and Joe Root in that side, you must be seriously looking forward to the experience of getting to know those guys, learning from them in the nets, right?
Absolutely. And look, that won't just be for white ball cricket as well. There's no reason I can't speak to Joe about red ball test batting and stuff like that, and I don't see why I wouldn't, because that would be a perfect opportunity in my opinion. And yeah, learning off guys like Phil Salt, current England players, like super destructive, so yeah, well, why wouldn't I want to have these chats? I suppose the only thing I've got to manage is that I'm speaking to them about something other than cricket, so they don't get too bored. But yeah, absolutely.
It is tricky, isn't it? I imagine to when you speak to a legend who, let's be honest, that you've looked up to, in the likes of Joe Root, when you come to have a normal conversation with these guys, I imagine it's pretty daunting.
It can seem interesting, because I'm thinking a couple of years ago I'm watching these guys on telly like superstars, and then I'm playing with them a couple of years later, so yeah, I completely get that feeling myself. How was that?
Big appeal for LBW, a couple of noises. Let's go back to this game then, ASAP. 280. How do you feel about that? Look at the target, the maths. 190 off 199 balls. Big wicket of Kushal Patel down. How do you think Jersey will be feeling out there?
Yeah, look, that's a massive wicket. Patel, he's obviously super important for their batting line up here, so glad we've got him out. I think we kind of thought maybe it was a fractionally under par. We saw 300 as maybe par. Yeah. Especially the position we were in, 150, 160 for one, right? So, yeah, look, haven't quite got as many as we wanted, but I think with the versatility of this squad, we've got plenty of bowling options, and Chuggy can just mix between those. Don't see any reason why we can't defend this.
Well, as Bashard starts on you over, let's talk about him. Plenty of experience in the Jersey side. Just after this ball, as it's played down towards third for an easy single for Sharkey. What kind of challenges as a batter facing Bashard? What challenges does he bring?
Look, he's obviously quite skillful. He's not got pace, but he's got skill.
Yeah.
And just subtle variations with Chuggy, whether he's trying to bring his wrist across the ball just to try and get a little bit of hold out of the wicket, or he's trying to swing it in, or yeah, look, he's obviously, how many games he played? He's played heaps, and there we go, just pushing it across him there. But look, I think that he's vital for how we approach this game, obviously leading from the front as captain, and got the ball in hand, and he's not afraid to bowl the tough overs as well. He's obviously bowling through the middle now, but he'll certainly be saving himself a few for the back end if it does get tight.
And just to finish off, Ace, we don't want to keep you too long. We know you're enjoying your day here. But in terms of Jersey's other bowling options, they're going to need to make some breakthroughs pretty soon, it feels. So there's plenty of runs still to work with. In terms of your strike bowlers, you feel on this surface today are going to really make an impact, maybe even take a wicket? Who do you see making that charge?
Yeah, look, I think Julius could be one of those. Bit of extra pace, and mentioned as that ball got a little bit older, maybe a little bit more cross-seam variation, it started to be a little bit more two-paced out the wicket, and I could see catches in front of the wicket being quite important there. Just a false shot could let us in, so someone like Julius with the odd off-pace delivery as well could be tricky.
Hey, so just looking at it from a coaching perspective, if you don't mind me just coming in, you've had a run of form with plenty of hundreds back to back. I remember you playing at Kenya with your brother, scoring mammoth amount of runs in Kenya. But since then, you've obviously kicked on and you've got some big runs. You've also got some experience in franchise cricket as well. What's been the real key to the success of your batting? If you could really home in on one particular area, is it a technical aspect, is it a mental aspect, is it a physical element? Because you're obviously growing over the last couple of years as well since I've last seen you.
Yeah, look, I find it hard when I get asked that question to pinpoint one thing specifically. Look, obviously I've made a couple of technical changes which have helped across formats, but I think cricket is a really mental game, and it's about having a robust mindset for that. So I would certainly put a lot of it down to that, but I think the volume of balls that I've hit over the last 18 months has been a main driving factor. Not just hitting balls for the sake of it, but focus training into how I can get better. Areas that I've been exposed to that I haven't quite mastered when nice bit of spin. That I haven't quite mastered when I've played in those environments, and going away, working at those so that I can be ready to cope with that environment when I go back at it. So that would probably be my main thing. Training outside my comfort zone, and really pushing myself that way.
Just talking about your comfort zone then, is one thing in particular that you could just, so some good young listeners who are looking up to the game, who are obviously understanding that you're now starting to get into the game at the top level and earning some really good money, which is a great reward for your hard commitment, and they would probably be looking up to that in the next 5 to 10 years. Is there one particular thing that you worked on? So let's say against spin, is there anything that you would strongly encourage youngsters to do more often?
Yeah, I mean, spin related, it would probably just be quick feet, like whether that's nicely bowled, run them out.
Chancellor on strikers end, blocked by Shark in the end. Huge scream from the fan, 95 for 2.
Yeah, so big thing against spin is dynamic foot movement, so not really getting stuck after a press, but how can I get right forward to play it before it spins, or right back and to play it after it spins. So that would be a key thing against spin. I think a lot of players can whack spin, but that's high risk. How can you be a good player of spin who doesn't need to take risk but can score freely? So that'd be a big thing, and that is coming from good footwork. So, but in overall kind of trying to training and for young lads would be to put yourself outside your comfort zone, work on your weaknesses. All nice stuff. Work on your weaknesses, and don't be afraid to get in there and fail, because if you're walking away because you might fail at something, I think that's a poor mentality about how to go at something. You can't just push away areas of your game that aren't very good and hope you don't get exposed to them, because as you move up the levels, people will find out what areas you struggle with, and you will be exposed. So I'd say as soon as you find something that you struggle with, get in there and work on it straight away.
Yeah, there was an area I had the pleasure of working with Peter Moores back in the day, and he often referred to positive failure, where if you're in and around an environment and you're constantly failing, it's actually expanding your experience of not failing under pressure. And when you do fail, it often gives you a great chance to come back and continue your success under pressure as well. So yeah, he spoke really well about that, and he was quite big on it's okay to fail as long as you're learning from it and you're developing from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, a great message to the youngsters.
Asa, I think it's our time to hand you back and for you to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for popping into the
very
commentary
much for
box,
having
the
me.
commentary tent.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for showing the way.
Catch you later.
Thanks, Asa. Have a good day. Asa Tribe of Glamorgan and Jersey joined us. Very good to have him here today. Not only for us, but also for the side to have Asa around and be able to help his teammates. Just to be around the group would be a huge help. So 97 for 2 then at the end of the 19th. And Nepal just stalling ever so slightly, and Jersey trying to keep the pressure on. So good to hear from a man who's started in Jersey. This is a huge lap sweep out towards deep fine leg. It's going to run away for 4, and these two batters starting to show the way of how they can keep and maintain the scoring on a tricky surface. 100 up for Nepal, 101 for 2. So good to hear from Asa though.
Yeah, fantastic cricketer. Obviously, a limelight for youngsters who are coming through now, watching a Jersey-born player at the big level, experienced in franchise cricket now. He's got some experience, exposure, should I say. He's been over to South Africa, played. Obviously, he's playing the 100 as well, playing for Glamorgan as well. So he's definitely a homemade name, and I'm sure others will be looking at the same opportunity as well if they can get it. But a fantastic cricketer. I remember him in Kenya. Boy, he played really well.
I think he's received enough of an ego massage now. Good player though. Right, Charles Bashard then to continue his over from the pavilion end, providing that variance in skill. Flowing drive from Pandey out towards Blompi at deep point. Throws in to prevent the second run. And just in terms of the game situation now, 180 of 184 balls. Nepal got wickets in hand. Two players who are starting to play themselves in. Do you think all of a sudden it might be advantage Nepal?
It would look like that, but I still think Jersey have got a breakthrough coming somewhere. You're looking. There's still 30 overs left in the game. A couple of wickets, and the pressure's really back on. The danger is you let these two guys go very quick between the stumps. They'll obviously find a boundary here and there. You let them continue on. Pritchard ends up bowling his allotted overs. The pressure's back on Jersey then.
Yeah, it certainly would be, and you get the feeling that a breakthrough might be needed pretty soon. Huge backlift and good strike up towards mid-off. Greenwood with the fielding. Still Nepal, these two. Isham Pandey feels like he's had a bit of a battling knock today, doesn't it?
Stuck around for his team, 56 balls for his 33.
He's starting to find form. Exactly what Nepal be wanting from this, isn't it? You got your man who's in top form at the top of the order. He's come in, got a good 50. He's now out, but now all of a sudden the chance for other players in this squad to be able to, have a bit of time at the crease.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think from a Nepal perspective, they obviously want their opportunities for their batters at the top end to get some quality time in, lots of volume of deliveries under pressure, which will set them into a really good position for the next tournament over the next couple of weeks. That pressure is going to come thick and fast with Netherlands and Namibia. So yeah, exactly what I'm sure Stuart Law would wanted from his boys.
Here's Ward then. Down the track, Panda. Single found. John T. Jenner so quick in the covers.
I think from a batting perspective, you can be somewhere at half stage on the 25th over. If you can be somewhere around the 140 mark, you're halfway there, and you're making it a little bit easier for the guys to come in.
A little bit of grip and cut away by Sharkey. And then, just to clarify, it was not too far away from this point where Jersey lost their first of Carline. They were 115 for 1 at the time, so pretty close. That worm would be pretty much neck and neck. Nepal just slightly ahead, but they have lost that second wicket.
From the first ball to the final over. Watch every T20I, ODI and Test highlight from around the world. From rising stars to seasoned pros, every domestic and international match matters. Catch every cricket highlight, anytime, only on Stike Sports.
Scoring rate, but it has now popped up since Bim Sharkey and Isham Pandey have started to get into the groove.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether that spike can just continuously agree. As I've just said, that it's just dipped again.
Now, a man who bowled well on Monday. It's Nick Greenwood. Took a couple of those middle order wickets, including the big scalp of Kushal Bertel on 105. And not long later, got rid of Arif Sheikh as well. And a power all-rounder. So plenty of encouragement from Jersey. They know they're still in this game. Can Greenwood take a wicket? A little puff of dust. Potentially showing it's just a little bit dry out there. We've got a lot of hot weather, but also a little bit of rain on Monday. This time to the leg side. And as Nepal approach the halfway mark, just keep wickets in hand for the moment. We could be on for a tight finish here. All the watchers, wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching from Nepal or from European shores, we've got a game on our hands. Isham Pandey continue to tick along.
Charlie, today we've also got another game on our hands. Predictions?
England against Argentina. I felt that Norway was going to be a bigger challenge than Argentina, just because of the way that it's a lovely sweep shot backward at square, doesn't even bother running. Beats a running Patrick Guj out there. This is really good batting here from Nepal. Nishan Pandey now moves with that score to 46. My prediction is a 3-1 victory. We haven't been too good at preventing goal scoring, but we've also been quite good at scoring. Pulled away. If this skips along, which it does, it's 50 up for Nishan Pandey. The biggest cheer of the day as he shakes hands with Bim Sharkey, little bat tap, and he remains subdued as he knows in the chase there's work to be done. Good knock from Nishan Pandey after really working hard for his runs early doors.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looked good in the last stages of this 50. Really looked competitive. He's been attacking early doors. He was very tentative. It looked like he was a walking wicket, but he seems to have recovered his confidence, his shot selection. The gameplay against spin has been a little bit easier than the guys who are just coming in, and a bit like Prashad targeting the top of the stumps. It's been really good, really impressive. He's got to kick on for his team. He's got a job to do.
Bit of extra turn from Ward. This is going to be interesting now. The pitch is dry. It's a used deck. We've now had well over 150 overs on this wicket. And there's another little thing which I've enjoyed about both sides here. They've always kept that deep sweeper quite square of the wicket, because all the runs that have come off a slicing cut shot, sometimes really well timed with speed, but the spin is always taking it more backward of square. Benjamin Ward. Brilliant fielding off his own bowling. Good diving stop, and after a couple of boundaries, feels very important for him.
Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he? He's done well for the team.
Chance from Dunford, fielding after removing the glove. But yeah, Ward, he's a warrior. Always wants to be in the game. And he certainly was in it on Monday. So whether he can continue to make the ball turn. And that googly is going to be very important. Sharkey read it, turned it into leg for a single.
Good passage of play this for the Nepal batters. They've just been showing that little bit more intent as we come up to the halfway stage, where 128 for 2.
Just to show the Nepalese batters it's not going to be straightforward from here. Although they're on a good spell, on a good run of form, these two batting well in tandem, with a good balance of run scoring and solid defence and correct decision making. But now a few fielding tinkers are going to be made. Birrell goes out to deep square. Blompi moves round to deep mid wicket. Long on is out, and as is deep cover. Quite square out there. Greenwood's in, and skewed drive goes out to backward of square leg. Now feels a good time to talk about percentages, doesn't it? In terms of chance for each side to go on and win. And I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it, Kaz.
I'm going to throw it back to you.
So I'll go first then. I'd say we're about a couple of wickets could do everything. So I think we're looking at about 56% Nepal, is what I'd say.
Not 57.
Definitely not 57.
Very precise.
What were you thinking, 57?
No, I was thinking more like 60-40.
Okay.
I was thinking more like 60-40.
Bit less precise.
Sitting on the fence, mate.
No, okay. Fair play.
Round numbers.
Big appeal, this one. Instant shake of the head, but look at Greenwood's reaction. He's almost just heard the reason from the umpire why that wasn't given, and now he's heard the reason. He's even more shocked. What do you reckon? Just first time round by the eye.
Tight, very tight. If anything, I could only think that it's going down leg. It's the only thing I could think of. It's quite a full delivery, and he does tend to plant his foot across the line. So if anything, I can only think line more than anything else. It'd be great to see a replay front on. So from the umpire's perspective,
I think we're going to get. Well, we might get a side-on one at some point. And I think why Greenwood was so shocked.
shot.
Good shot through the covers. This is going to run away for 4. Blompy knows it's 4. Jenner knows it's 4. They've given up the chase. Each over seems to bring about a boundary ball. And the Nepal batters are being pretty efficient at taking it on. But just from my lip reading skills, I think the umpire might have not given that on height, which is why Greenwood was quite so shocked. However, paddle sweep, big appeal for LBW, but not from the bowler. He knows impact was outside off. So that ends the over, 135 for 2. And
Behind every victory, there's a story the world never sees. The pain, the passion, the purpose. At Stike Sports, we go beyond the game to bring you the heart of the athlete. Come, be part of the journey. Watch the biographies rise to glory, only on Stike Sports.
Yeah, I spoke about it earlier, around about the 140-45 mark, to try and get halfway in the run chase from half the overs, leaving the rest of the batters a decent score to chase. Done really well so far, these two batters. Bimmel's been busy off his 27 balls for his 17. He's run really well. Turned dot balls into singles, which is what you want. It's just whether he's got the steam to continue on for long periods and bat through.
Change of bowling. Now, by the judging of keeper standing up to the stumps, we're going to see a lot of Daniel Birrell taking pace off. Short fine leg is in the ring. Again, another sign of pace off. Third man's out. Cover point is out on the boundary. And there's also deep square and long on.
I would say that's music to my ears.
Short, just easy single then for Nepal. Daniel Birrell, who we couldn't quite believe went so early to the slower ball early on the first day here in Jersey. But now, Jersey in desperate need of a breakthrough, just to be able to stay with a bit of a stronghold in this game. Here's Birrell. On the wicket for the left-handed Pandey, who will enjoy that he now sees the opening bowler return. He's doing the right thing. He sits on 56. Where can Jersey find their wicket, Kaz? Where do you see it possibly coming from? Maybe a trap, you might say, or a fielding change? Although this is the top edge, I think it might land safely. Yeah, Greenwood's in pursuit. Retrieves it from inside the rope, and Pandey moves to 58.
Well, I think that's the first sign there, and the first part of the question that I'm going to answer is really putting on some variation with your deliveries to mix the timing up, and I've been saying that pretty much most of the afternoon. On this pitch you've got to do that, especially with batters who need pace. I think the second thing is also trying to squeeze out and tighten up one end, because at the moment the ball's flying around the ground in all parts of different directions.
They're just bringing the stumps into play there with that slightly slower ball. And Dunford standing up with the black gloves on, looks the part. Crowd has gradually filled up. A couple of deck chairs put out on the mid-wicket boundary. Looks like one man is got his hat over his eyes, just enjoying the cricketing lifestyle. Big shot though from Pandey. Gets no run for it. One ball away from the halfway mark. No, we're there. 138 for 2. 145 to win from 150. Nepal are in a convincing position.
They're in a strong position, yeah, absolutely. Just need to continue on grinding the results out from a batting perspective, as we see the worm again there, really showing a distinctive sign that just ahead.
Now Nepal will want it to stay like this the entire game. They'll want to just keep ticking on, try and sap the life out of the Jersey fielders. Bat pad popped up. Chance for non-strikers. Dunford has been so good at taking off that right glove, scampering over to the ball, picking up and throwing on the turn, and being pretty accurate with it. Who's to say he might not get a bit of a closer chance coming soon. $140 for 2 Nepal. Reverse sweep, struck on the left shoulder. And we saw something relatively similar be given yesterday off the bowling of Greenwood.
We've seen some of them being given out. Yeah.
We certainly have. It was a pretty swift rejection there that time. That's a good sweep shot. It's going to take some stopping. Daniel Birrell with the work. Solid from him out at deep backward square. That looked like a very, very tricky piece of ground fielding.
Yeah, it did, for a tall man, fast bowler, getting down, did really well. Used a bit of the old kneecap, rolled over it. Well done.
In comes Greenwood, look at this. Bit of pressure building for Jersey. They're trying to show a little bit of passion, a little bit of something. How can they force a wicket? How can they just create a moment? That ends the 26th, 142 for 2. Greenwood looks a little bit steaming.
Yeah, 20 for none off his 3. Doing just a breakthrough here, Jersey. just going through the motions a little bit. We need something to happen.
So Birrell to continue. Let's have a look at this. Is this the reverse sweep? It is. Oh, it's hit him on the helmet. Is it helmet? Oh, very high up on the shoulder. Look at that extra bounce. Nepal. While it might seem comfortable at the minute, all it takes is a moment. Just for Jersey to bring it back. Staying in touch, Jersey, not letting them get away. And that's a glorious stroke. Isham Pandey is a new man. He's become accustomed to the conditions. He's waiting for the bad balls, and now he's putting them away with style. Nepal moved to 146 for 2. Brilliant shot from Isham Pandey. He moves to 67. It's been a very impressive return from him. Back of the lane, cut straight to Jonty Jenner. And some pretty good backing up from Julius Samaroa.